And the issue occurs almost immediately as the arc starts, as Bed shows up to invite Sanji to the wedding. Now, obviously Sanji wasn't going to just go along with this because he was told so. He already had attacked the Big Mom pirates recently. He's not scared of them at all and is confident in Luffy becoming the Pirate King. So the story needed to come up with a reason to make him leave, which is when Beto whispers something in his ear. But what does he say? I don't know what he whispers to him because it's never revealed. I know a lot of people are just going to assume that he told him about Seth, but that doesn't really add up because if we go to the scene where Judge reveals they have Seth's location, Sanji seems equally shocked and surprised, maybe even more surprised. Why would he be this surprised at something he was already told a few days ago? This is an issue because the reason Sanji decides to leave is never revealed to us, ever. Now, of course, we can just assume that Oda just messed up a little bit and that he actually did whisper the Seth reveal because ultimately that's the only thing that really makes sense. But this creates an even bigger problem, and what is really my biggest issue with Sanji's journey in this arc, his reason or reasons for leaving. After Sanji feeds Luffy, Luffy asks him to come back, but Sanji still refuses and gives him 3 reasons for that. The first one is that he hurt and insulted Luffy, his captain. This is a good and fair reason that I like. But reason number 2 is that Seth's life is being threatened and is basically being held hostage. In my opinion, this is a terrible reason from a storytelling perspective because it takes away all the agency from Sanji. Yes, Sanji technically makes the choice to leave, but he doesn't really have a choice. I mean, he could choose to not leave the crew and let Seth die instead, but that's not really a choice. Remember how I talked about Sanji not wanting to leave the Baratier because he felt indebted to Seth? Now imagine the reason he didn't want to leave was actually because Seth would die if he left. That will make the situation much less interesting because of course Sanji wouldn't leave. Why would he do that? He obviously doesn't want to let Seth die. That's just basic logic. Let's compare this to Robin. The reason why Robin leaves is because she thinks she doesn't deserve to live. She thinks she brings death and destruction to wherever she goes, and that she should die because she's not worth anything. Her choice to leave is 100% a character-driven choice. Of course, the government also threatened to kill the Straw Hats, but that's not really the same at all, as Luffy is a capable and strong pirate with a strong crew. The government's threat itself is not really a factor for Robin at all, more like an excuse for her to die, as she knows Luffy has a good shot at winning. In fact, there's proof of this. When Robin stops lying to herself and declares that she wants to live, she has no lack of confidence that Luffy can win. She fully believes in it. Seth, on the other hand, is an old man and is guaranteed to die if Sanji doesn't leave the crew. Seth effectively has a gun to his head, and if Sanji doesn't comply, they'll shoot him. And to make this issue even worse, we have the handcuffs. These will explode if Sanji leaves the island and make him lose his hands, meaning he can never make food again. Once again, obviously he's not going to go back to his crew.